Episode 6. Yikes. I don't live there, but it's just a nice building. I thought this frame was nice. So I feel like one of the interesting running themes of these episodes, really enough, has been my driving. It is incredibly sunny right now, and that is a really overexposed spot. Driving hasn't gone too well. I feel like there is a lot going on, and it's not what I expected. As you can probably tell by what's happening in the frame, the weather's really improving. It's a lot nicer. A couple of months ago it was freezing, but yeah, here we are in episode 6. My life is going very strongly, I think. I actually just came back from a weekend trip over in Amsterdam. I did smoke a little bit of weed. I did not do that. I did none of those things. It was really, really nice. I was there with some of my boys. We just went out, just chilled. We went mainly for a GNB festival thing. It was like a Mapiano event where people just kind of... One thing I will say about the Dutch, they do not slow down. We came and we thought we were gonna be like too late because the last entry was 1:30. That was literally when everybody showed up. But of course, they were like us. So yeah, everybody was there at the same time. We were all trying to get in, and once we got in, the vibes were immaculate. It was a really cool event. Literally, it kept going. Like, it wasn't like moments of pausing or breathing, because there were separate rooms in the club venue, and everyone was just going till about 5, 6 a.m. I actually don't drink, guys. Usually I don't drink, but this one time I did because I was like, well, when in damn, do a couple of damn things. I really had a good experience. That was the Friday lead into the Saturday. The Saturday itself, I just went out with a friend of mine. We went to the museum, did a couple of things, and it was good. Like I said, you guys heard me talk about this in December, but I'm just gonna keep doing this. I think it's really good traveling a lot. It gives me a lot of mental break from the tenacity of doing what it is that I do. But on top of that, it's just, no, tenacity is not the word. I'm just throwing big words at you.
That's a big one, Rama.
It just gives me a really good break from how difficult the work is that I do, like, and how much it might be a mental strain on you. Every time I'm traveling, I'm gonna shoot content, so I think I've been able to upload France one, so you guys can go and check that out. But also, I'm just gonna shoot what I can for fun. Like, I don't shoot for fun a lot. And so what the trips are for me is that I'm gonna be doing them to just shoot for fun. Traveling, enjoying myself, eating different food, meeting different people, just having a blast and having a fool and just de-stressing. I'm young, I'm 23. I'm turning 24 soon. But I'm young, and well, your youth are for living. And so I'm gonna live a little bit. Now, for more serious talks, I actually just had a call today about DOPing for a short film. Round of applause. And this is gonna be my first short film that I've led DOPing on. It isn't paid. I was not able to get some funding for this, but I am the only cinematographer on the set, and it is essentially my word to create the film. The script has been sent over to me as we speak. It's really cool. It's on the topic of mental health. So it's about a woman, an elderly woman with dementia, who realizes that she's been adopted. And I don't want to get too much into the synopsis just because it's not my story and I don't want to reveal too much. I feel like the adopted line was the plot twist. It's out there now. But because there are some people behind me and I don't know what's going on. Like, do I just chill here? I think I'll just chill here. I'm looking forward to being on a set, like my own set now, because it's been a long time coming, so I'm gonna be a cinematographer. It's actually really funny because I come into another thing because I've actually been headhunted for another short film. It's a Christian short film with my friend, Audrey. You guys should remember her from a couple of episodes ago. Audrey's been able to get herself some funding to produce her own project. And because, like I said, with the industry thing, it's all about connections, it's all about the people you know. She reached out to me, and me being myself, of course I'm gonna take on. So I was able to convince her and her director to get me on board to do the shots. I think with the director, he had a bit of an issue because a lot of my previous work doesn't have the specific style that he's looking for. So he looks more for like that Rembrandt split tone interview lighting, where you'll basically shoot shadow side and create light casting behind and from a king position, a king angle, like a 45-degree angle. You can tell by the way I'm describing it to you, I know what that is and I'm able to replicate it just because I don't actually have a body of work that details that style. I think he was a bit tentative and a bit nervous at first, but I was able to secure the bag, and I'm looking forward to working on that project. I think we'll actually be shooting in May, which is when my birthday's supposed to be, so it might be a bit dicey, but hopefully that should go over smoothly. Yeah, and that's the world of cinematography for me. I'm actually finally starting to get my hands into some meaty cinematography work. Also, I did reach out to a couple of people on Instagram because I wanted to actually start a series of mine. I'll be working with poets, spoken word artists, just creating really dark, gritty, visceral visual experiences. I want to talk about topics like death, racism, murder, sexual. It is more, for me, it's more about untabooing the things that are really taboo. And because of the way my cinematography works, it's very beautiful. So I want people to be able to, I want it to be palatable to people. I want people to hear topics that are very meaningful, but I don't feel frightened by it because the imagery is too dark. So that's kind of where my headspace is at. So I'm really working on producing my own little series there. I actually patched up with T. We had a nice little conversation after a while. I apologized. She gave me a hug. She apologized. We all apologized. And again, like I said, T's really, really good person for me, especially because she's linked me up with so many different people. And so with T, she's looking to start a second season of her show. That's the T Show that I was editing all the way back in November or October. It's so crazy that this is how long it's gone on now. But she's looking to do that editing. So I might take the lead on that. I might not. I'm not sure yet because my workload is starting to build up fairly quickly. But on top of that, she does also have like a music interviewing platform she wants to do with like up and coming or fairly established artists. I don't want to spoil who the first guest she's gonna have on that show, but it is a fairly known name, especially in the Southeast London area, which is where I'm from. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working on that with her because she's headhunted me to be the lead cinematographer for that. So bam, 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 bam. I've got projects lined up working for, but that's kind of another downside is with this whole cinematography, DOPing, videography thing, there's a lot of promises. A lot of promises. People will say, yeah, I'm gonna shout you for this, and you know, I'm looking forward to working with you on this and this and this. And sometimes a lot of things do fall through, and that's happened with me a lot in the past. I've had so many offers and this discourse around doing certain projects, and people just haven't gotten back to me, or things have been left for so long. And I'm also not just a victim, I'm also a perpetrator of that, really struggling to connect and struggling to consistently reach out. And that's one of those things you just kind of have to swallow in this industry, is that you just can never really know when things are certain for sure until you are on the set with the camera in your hand or on your shoulder shooting. Nothing is for sure certain. You just have to kind of live in that moment and also learn to, I guess, which is why I'm the way I am, but keep busy. Keep busy with doing stuff, which is also comes in line with the thing I was saying earlier on. Shoot for fun. Don't ever stop shooting for fun. It is important that you, number one, keep refreshing and honing your skills. And it is only really by picking up a camera and going outside and doing things like this that I'm doing right now that you start to improve and you start to get better at it at what you do. But number two is also just by the virtue of if you pick up a camera and shoot, you look busy, and so people automatically assume that you're busy and they start to want to book you because you look busy. And that's why I tell people, like, even if you don't have gigs, even if you're not being paid, even if there's not any monetary value or financial value or fiscal value, just go outside and shoot, man. You have a camera, you have something that a lot of people would love to get their hands on, which is a piece of equipment that they can use to create stories. You have it in your hand. Go outside and shoot stuff, even if it's just like random content, social content, which I actually do. So I have a friend of mine, his name's Samuel Eni, and every so often, he just brings me on board with different presenter shoots that he's doing for different events. I think I did a London Fashion Week one last week. It was actually on men's mental health. I just took my camera, I took my A6700, and I just went outside, not outside, I went to the event, I went to the venue, I just took some shots, you know, some B-roll, some performance shots of the actual paneling situation, and just clipped together a nice little 1 minute thing, and it's stuff like that that is just, I won't forget how to use a camera, but I also get to be in the spaces of people who may be, you know, the reason I have another new project coming down the line. But on top of that, it's just keeping on with that videographer, the video cinematographer lifestyle. Is that just always keep a camera in your hand. It's really unfortunate because when I did go to Amsterdam, I wasn't actually able to shoot any content. Number one, on the Friday that we landed, it was too late. We landed very, very late. We had a delay in our flight, which brought us to Amsterdam, I think around 9:30, 10. And then I got really confused with the instructions because Lord knows that Dutch is a fake language. I apologize to any Dutch people out there who I may offend, but Lord have mercy, you guys need to clean up that language. It is so... Okay, that's probably very, very not PG. But Dutch just kind of leans itself more into a bit of a, you know what I'm saying? Dutch is just very, it's not easy to understand. Anyways, I got lost. The instructions weren't really amazing on Apple Maps, and my phone was dying, so it took us a while to get to the hotel, but we eventually got to the hotel, and it was pretty cool. It was a nice experience, but it was raining on Saturday, and so because of the rain on Saturday, I actually wasn't able to shoot any content in Dam. And I also felt a bit awkward about bringing my camera out in public in Amsterdam. I can do it in London, I don't care. Y'all gonna see his camera today. I'm doing way too much. I'm so comfortable now. You guys are seeing like the worst side of me, where I'm just like doing some suspicious things on camera. I didn't shoot any content in Dam. But outside of that, what I am looking more forward to is doing more shoots of my own. And like, I've had the problem with money. I know some people might have the problem with money. I can't always offer out monetary value to people. And so just like the first shoot I had in January, I'm just looking to sort of build with the people I have around me. There's some guy in his car looking at me, like directly where the camera is, this way, slightly to the left. And oh Lord, it's okay. Oh look, he's gone now. That's what I thought, you little dickhead. Oh no, he's parking. Let me calm down before he finds me. Yeah, and that's what I'm looking forward to, is just picking up a camera and shoot more stuff. In more personal news, I failed my driving test again. If at first you don't succeed, fail and fail again. Well, here we are, I failed again. And it doesn't feel good. And it's really easy to give advice like that, especially when you're in a position of like actually doing well, but I'm not. So do I even feel sound about the advice I gave people? Because I said that advice with the expectation that the next time I came and did it, I'd probably succeed, and I haven't. And what makes it a bit more painful is the fact that I had to spend an exorbitant amount of money to get that test in the first place. For those who don't know, there is a shortage of driving exams in the UK. Usually with the driving system in the UK, you book online, you go to a website called DVSA, and you'd book online to a test center near you or wherever it is that you want to learn to drive. And you just book easily, like you just book it like any other sort of booking system, you do it that way. Unfortunately, because of COVID and other extraneous factors, I don't even know what they are, but there is an entire there are no tests available to book on that platform. I'm looking down because I'm having to to manually expose for the sun as clouds go over it, which is crazy. So you either have to do one of two things, right? Which is you book a random driving test in some random place like Boynton Regis or Stanford-le Hope upon Thames, somewhere outlandish for like 6 months' time, and you download an app, either Testy or Test Cancellation, something like that, and you input your details in, and automatically it might be able to source in for you the earliest convenient driving test slot at a center near you. Or alternatively, you pay slightly more exorbitant amounts of money and get essentially people who like spam the websites to do it for you. And a lot of these people are like on WhatsApp, and they have like businesses that they run out of it. But that's kind of the process. You either do the app route, or you get somebody to do it who probably has like bots and AI involved in the whole process. It isn't good, and for me, this test cost me £600. I had to book a random test at first, tried to do it through the app, and the app wasn't getting me anything at all. And so I was able to get somebody who was able to get me a test closer to the test date I needed for the area I was going to do, which was Erith. It was going to be the 20-something of February. I actually think it would have been 2 days from now. Yeah, it would have been the 27th of February. But because of who I wasn't happy with that. Like, I wanted something a lot earlier. So after I bought that test from that person, because I did buy that test, I'd already spent £70 for the first random test I got, then I paid £160 for this test. Then the next test came along. I found somebody who was able to give me Belvedere, because that's closer in my area as well, for another £160. And then I had to upgrade my Erith to my Belvedere test so I could get that out the way. Then I had to pay my driving instructor £130 to use his car for the test, and then also had to pay £50 so I could have an hour before the test just driving around, getting used to the routes, and just refreshing myself so that on the test I have less nerves and stuff. Fortunately, none of that paid off. I paid around $560 just to get into the test atmosphere, and it didn't work out. And I'm a little bit embarrassed by it, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like you have to take losses somewhere, and life is like that. You know, oh wow, this is really underexposed. part of me was thinking about it like, maybe this just confirms that I should stick to the biking thing. If you guys remember, originally back in November, I did my CBT and I was on the route towards getting a full biking license, but the reason I stopped was because I wanted to do my driving thing first to get it out the way, and so it wouldn't be as much of a hindrance, but now I'm running into the situation where I basically can't drive apparently. If you do want to know the reason that I failed this time as opposed to the first time, if you guys remember the first time, I failed because I was going down a hill and I was at a meeting point, like a little curvy point where there was parked cars on either side and traffic flowing. And my driving examiner basically just had to press down on the wheel and be like, you ain't gonna fit through there, buddy. This time around, I was so concerned with like my driving instructor, you know, grabbing my wheel and doing this, that I was driving with a little too much cautiousness, right? But I wouldn't be paying attention to signs because I'd be looking at my examiner so much. I'd be like, I hope he doesn't write down, do you know what I'm saying? And so we got to an area in Abbey Wood. If anyone knows where St. Paul's School is, it's around that area, like a little hill. And that road is a 20 road, but I turned that road at sort of 24, 25-ish, I can't remember. I turned and I was going and I didn't slow down at that speed. There were no cars around, and this is during, what's it called, non-school hours. It's like on a school holiday. So there's nobody around. But the driving examiner, I don't want to use this as he was autistic, he had the badge on him. I think that was like a, you can't do it kind of thing. And so I failed because I was speeding. That was the reason I failed. I had a couple of minors because I did a really bad left turn into a really sharp hill, but nobody was affected, nobody was around, and I corrected myself and I got control of the car. Like it wasn't terrible, but the speeding thing was just enough to get me a serious fault. And for those who know how driving works, you can get 15 driving faults or minor faults, and you can't get a single like serious or dangerous. And the dangerous was the one I got last time. This time around, I got a serious fault. So, I mean, hopefully as the trend continues, then I should only end up with minor faults. But what's really embarrassing about all of this is that it's not manual, it's automatic, which it doesn't it doesn't help, but yeah. So that entire process has just had me thinking maybe I should just stick to the biking thing like I originally planned, because it is looking like the universe does not want me to drive. So yeah, that's that. Outside of that though, I feel like I've really been struggling a lot with some personal stuff, just because I'm at a point now where, oops, sun's coming back out, guys. Gotta decrease my exposure a little bit. Just a tad bit awkward. Sun comes back out, just ruins the shot. I've been having some challenges because I see everybody else around me. It came out for like 3 seconds. You little 3 seconds, really? All right, man, gotta increase my exposure once more. You guys see what I do for you, right? So I'm at that point in my life now where I'm looking at my peers and my people around me. And I know I said before that comparison is the thief of joy, but it's very difficult to not compare yourself because you are in close and similar spaces. And everybody around me is going towards buying houses and settling down and driving and building out real adult lives. And I still feel like I'm sorting and figuring stuff out. And it's really interesting because now we're at that halfway part of this entire series. We're in episode 6. Like, you guys have seen me from my start of quitting my job and me being here I am now. I'm a lot more assured of myself, but I'm not sure I like this version of myself anymore. That's where I'm at. Like, I feel like in sacrificing that old life that I had, I've taken on this new life, and this new life is causing me types of grief I didn't think I'd have to deal with at this stage of my career or of my life, really. I don't have like a fleshed out career. Like, it's not every single day I'm going to galas and I'm shooting music videos, and that's not the life I live. I every so often get a shoot to do, and yes, I'm building out some short films here and there and doing my own projects, but it all still feels like there are loose ends in the air, and I'm trying my best to bring them all together and tie them. But I'm just not sure if I'm capable. So it feels like a bummer of a note to end on, and all the school kids are coming out now, but I'm really not sure. Do I try to salvage whatever it is that I have left of an adult life? It's like I'm turning 24 in a couple of months. I don't have a lot to show for 24. Like, I don't have a lot to show for 24. Maybe I should just go back and undo this and get that corporate job, and I don't know. save enough money so that I can actually stop worrying about these really poignant things. Or maybe I just continue on with this and keep fighting and struggling and hoping that one day somebody sees my value. We are, as creatives, lenient on the fact that other people have to see our value. Other people have to decide that what we do is good work, but there is also beauty in creating your own value for your own self. That's cute as heck, man. Take me back to being a child. I feel like I rumble about the same things every single time. Did I miss anything out? Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. Like right there. So I know I'm being watched as well. That's like the weird thing. Mufasa. Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. Okay, I'll stop now. Take care, guys. Bye. Did it stop recording? I don't think it stopped recording. Recording still?